was
Oh,
bringing
our
over.
village was wonderful.
And that's the only way we made it, y'all, because I didn't get unemployment while I was there. Was out sick on COVID. I mean, they did give me my last check, and then I applied for unemployment a little bit later because I found out we were diagnosed as being long haulers,
Yes.
which meant, for those who don't know, long haulers were people who had still going through symptoms and rebuilding or rehabbing from COVID because it damaged lungs. It did a lot
My
of
heart.
damage. Her heart. It did a lot to us where it blew my mind because I've never ever been that sick in my life.
Goodness, the fatigue took us months for us to recover from that. Just
And
the fatigue alone.
I remember when I brought you home, or before I brought you home, I called myself trying to get a little bit of exercise. I would leave out the house and walk to the mailbox at the end of the driveway. And I remember one day I was walking, and then I was in a pile of leaves, and I would look at the tops of trees, and I didn't realize that I would pass out because of lack of oxygen. And I was laid out in the driveway, and I would open up my eyes, hear the birds and stuff, and look up in the sky and see the
Mm.
clouds. And that happened on more than one occasion, me trying to get the mail and stuff. So I stopped trying to get the mail. I let Dylan get that on the way back in the house. But it scared me to the point where I could not go to the mailbox. I was that weak.
Walking to the bathroom was exhausting.
Yeah. And then when I was just trying to build myself up, I thought after 2 weeks I should have been better, but I couldn't. And then there's no money coming in the house. Family and friends, man. And shout out to my frat brothers. They
Yes.
would drop off water, and like Brother Thomas made sure that I had water, and
We
the
had
church
so much
members.
toilet paper and paper towels and disinfectant,
That people would just drop off on our
water.
porch. People would just drop them off on our porch, then notify us that they dropped them off, and we were allowed to go grab the stuff and drag it
Then
in
my
the
mom
house.
and aunt
Yeah,
made meals.
yeah,
Even our landlord sent pizza over
right.
for Dylan.
For Dylan, because he was the only one eating at the time.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. And my heart goes out to those families who did not
Have
have a
that help.
village.
Yeah. That.
And then let's jump a little bit further. You're home, I'm home, we're recuperating. You on a heart monitor for the most part. They want to
Yeah,
monitor your
because
heart.
my heart, I was having really bad heart. I couldn't move without my heart racing really, really, really fast.
Right,
And with me having AFib already, that kind of alarmed my cardiologist. So
right.
I couldn't do anything. I pretty much had to sit still because just getting up and walking to the car or leaving out my house going to the car, my heart starts racing really fast. So I was that was we my they said it was from COVID. So
I've never had anything that had me down for 6 months. 6 months where I was like willing myself doing push-ups, trying to do that. I remember one time I fell and hit my face on the floor trying to do push-ups. It was like it was the worst thing in the world. It felt like that life was so much out of control, and I couldn't take care of the basics like my kids and stuff.
yeah,
No money coming in. You have to pay your landlord, and then you just listening to the news. It was very, very scary. It was very, very scary
it
to the
was
point.
scary.
And then when we started feeling better, the bills started coming in and stuff. The job started calling. My doctor wouldn't release me because she was like, if I had known that you were passing out in the driveway, I would have admitted you to the hospital. But then who takes care of Dylan?
That's the scary part.
Right. Who takes care of him? And we did, put in consideration that he was good.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he,
He was doing well.
uh-huh.
He was he got better. Well, come to find out, he had issues though,
Right.
because his lung capacity when
Hmm.
he went to go for football,
Right.
his doctor said because he had COVID, even though he never really tested positive, but because both of us were sick and he had symptoms, he was considered positive
Right.
for COVID, and he had to get his heart checked out and had to get his lungs checked out
Hmm.
because kids have been known to have heart damage, myocarditis.
Right.
Thankfully, he didn't have any heart issues,
Right.
but his lungs, we found out, were only operating at 80%
Right.
capacity,
Right.
and we didn't know how long his
Right.
lungs were operating at that.
But at the time, it's not like you could call unless it was an emergency. Most of your video, it was video position you could do
Yeah,
in the
everything
video,
was through
and
video
you
until recently.
right, and then you really couldn't like okay, unless it was emergency. The hospitals were at capacity; they
Yeah.
weren't taking anybody. So those things got past us. But let's jump a little further. We are now coming out of COVID. You're out the hospital. We're dealing with the long hauler situation, and then unemployment. You know,
Oh my goodness, that a whole nother
also a
nightmare.
whole nother nightmare because you filing. I never received anything for the 11 months. You remember 11
You
months?
just might start receiving something this month.
Right. It's almost this is almost 2022 that I never received
Mm,
nothing throughout the whole thing, and my little side hustles and stuff like that kept us going. Those little side hustles we didn't. The only thing we really received was what the governor gave us, that little bit of
yeah,
money, and then the stimulus checks, where people were spending their stimulus checks trying to buy cars and houses. What angered me was that some people was at home who never had COVID, collecting 750, 800,
yeah.
$900 a week, and we had nothing. And I felt bad because I said I worked all my life, never, and I was always doing A, B, C, D, and E to make sure my family. The minute I go to our government, that I felt like I was failed. I felt that you couldn't get through.
It was just so. And of
Then
course,
I forced myself to go back to work again, remember? And I was still a little, I faked it so I can get a new
Thank you
job.
for tuning into The Bradbys Show with your hosts, Matthew and Candy Bradby. Please subscribe to this channel, click like, and share this episode. Tune in every Monday on your favorite podcast platform for new episodes. If you liked this show, please consider becoming a partner today. Visit www.thebradbys.com for more information. Do you have a question or great show topic? Join us on your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn today at The Bradbys. And as we sign off, please remember there is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. A successful relationship is a choice. Goodbye for now.